Hello and welcome to a brand new series for my channel. I don't know how long this series is going to be, it just depends on sort of how long the gameplay takes and how much you guys enjoy it. But welcome to Mashinky. So this is a train simulation game, or something like Transport Fever, things like that, to, you know, build your own railway, stuff like that, manage money and resources and so on and so forth. But Mashinky does things in an interesting way. So money isn't the only resource that you have to manage, which I think is kind of awesome. And it gives the gameplay something different. But rather than me just trying to explain it, I'm just going to start a game and show you, because that's far easier. Now I'm going to go on sort of the second size map, which is a 256 by 256. I'm going to keep the hills and forests at low density. I'm going to have high density industry, high density towns, and low density lakes. And just start the game. Normally takes a minute. Come on, don't crash on me. There we go. So straight away I'm going to pause the game, and you will always come up with this welcome task when you first start the game, and this is just teaching you how to use sort of the quests. So gonna do that. I'm just gonna speed through the first few quests, which is teaching you how to use the camera and things like that, which don't need to do that. That's telling you about terrain editing. Again, don't need to do that. And then the first main task is to connect two cities together. So to do that, you go into this mode here. So what we've got two sort of game modes. You've got this view, which is really beautifully rendered and looks amazing. And then you've got this mode, which is more blocky and concrete, and this is your building mode. And I love the way that the game does that. It has these two different modes. So we're going to go in here and we are going to set up what it's asking us to set up. Start from there and just go right across. I'm going to go to this one here, and again and we need a depot somewhere. And at the moment we've only got the two trains. That will change, but you'll notice that this is the cost of the train. This one costs the money that we've got in the corner. This one costs something completely different. Now they both cost money to run them, and that's the operating cost, and that will get deducted every now and then. And if you don't have that resource to pay for it, the train actually starts to slow down to the point where it's just like a snail. So, you know, when you're buying trains, make sure you can afford the operating cost, otherwise your whole system's just going to crash. But yeah, so this is the only train we can afford at the moment. And the game wants us to buy 3 of these little Pullman wagons. And I can set the stations that it'll go to myself, but because this is only a 2-stop thing, I can just hit start and the train itself will work out the best route. Now I'm going to speed up time so that the train pulls out. And so there's the two different views as such. And the train doesn't look that different, but you can just tell. And you can also follow the train, sit in the train, so on and so forth like that. Make it whistle. I love that. But depending on where you sit, things like that, you can actually sit in the cars themselves. You know. Now you shouldn't be doing that, should you? Alright then, you know what? Normally you don't have to set them yourself, but I will this time just to make sure it works. Come on. So that will move slowly from this station to the other station, and it will earn me some cash. And I got a new resource for finishing that mission, and that new resource is timber. So you can see we've got these little forests here. I'll change to this view just so it's easier to actually see the industries and stuff. So we've got forests there, we've got timber yards here, and these take the logs from the forests and turn it into wooden planks. But that's not the end. Then you need to take those wooden planks to one of these tool stations, and this will take that timber and turn it into the tokens that you need to actually buy things. So it's sort of a two-step process. You've also got coal, which you can deliver straight to here for coal tokens. And in the very first era, which we're in, and the game is split into different eras. So for the very first era, all we've got is wood and coal. That's the only two resources we have to manage. Well, and money, I suppose. But yeah. Now, on the map, it will have spread out these tool stations here and there, and it will spread out the different resources here and there. So we can just choose sort of the closest two that we want to deal with to start, you know, producing it. I'm not sure. I could probably do this one. What I tend to like doing is setting up like a round system, so the trains will just travel in one direction, because I think that looks the best. So I think we're going to be doing this system here, using this lumberyard, this tool station, this forest. And we can also set up these different cities at the same time. Now, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to borrow as much money as I possibly can. There we go. Just because I'm going to be setting up quite a lot of stuff, so it makes sense to borrow money. Now, the stations have a sort of a length of a 2x2 around them where they can draw supplies and passengers from. You can extend that in various ways, but you know, to start with, that is sort of the station size. So just be aware of that when you're building, that you know, anything covered in this blue zone, that's where it's going to be drawing its supplies from and nowhere else. Now, stations can be, at max, 6x6. So, I could do another one that way, but as you can see it's only 5 long, because I've already got one piece there. So, using that, you can have a station with multiple tracks on. But at the minute, we'll just have the one track there. Now, for the moment, I just want to set this up to earn cash, because cash is something that we are going to need quite a bit of for different things. So I'm going to set up a bit of a circular system. And although this game has really nice visuals in this game mode, you can't build or anything in this game mode. And I tend to find myself sitting in this build mode, even though the other one looks better. It's just one of those weird things that I find myself doing. I end up playing this entire game in this mode, even though the other one looks better. we are. So we've got a full round system now. We'll grab a depot. I think down here would be the best spot for the depot. And now I want to add signals in. As you can see, the way I'm doing this, I'm going to have all of the trains running in a single direction. And this way, it keeps the system constantly moving, and I don't have to worry about the trains sort of going the wrong way or anything like that. It just literally carries on. Ah, no. Damn you. Oh, we've just hit winter. Now I'm putting quite a lot of signals in because obviously the more signals there are, the less slowdown on the trains there are. And what I'm doing, I'm double clicking the signals because when you put a signal down, you can click one side of it to set which direction it will allow trains to go through. So by double clicking it as I am, I'm setting them to only let trains go through in a clockwise fashion. Okay, perfect. So we then want one of these, and I'll just pause very very quickly to show you this. Each of these trains has a length in yellow, and that's displayed just on the side there as well, and it has a weight displayed just there. It also has obviously a power, and its max weight is just here with its recommended max weight. So you can see, you know, as I add new cars to it, that weight goes up because it obviously I'm increasing the amount of weight the train has. And as I approach its sort of max weight, you don't really want to go much above its max weight, because if you do, it slows the train down, and so it won't actually ever get to its top speed of 70 miles an hour. So that's something to be aware of. Don't overdo your trains, because it will mean that they just don't go very fast, and that will just slow down the entire system. I mean, if it's the only train on the system, it's not so bad, but if you've got a lot of trains on the system, then it becomes worse. So we'll unpause and let that train leave. Now, this is something else that I discovered. When you're setting stations, you can click this button to add a station, or you can click a current train. Damn thing. And it will take whatever that train's station list is. So by clicking that train, I've now got a full station list for the next one. So it's a good way to sort of get multiple trains very quickly out of the station or out of the depot. They all know where they're going. I think we'll have 5 trains for the moment. do for the moment. Just got a reward for having so many passengers. Now I want to set up some stations around here. One just there and one just here. And I'm going to connect this in to the main system. Again, just add some signals along. So this is going to let both freight and passenger trains run on the same network. Because we've got so many trains, I've just gotten that reward, and now it wants us. It's given us two new quests: delivery of logs. So it wants us to deliver 100 logs from a forest to a sawmill. It's also got a particular forest that it wants us to take logs from, and you'll notice that there's more logs being produced there than normal. It also produces some coal. But that is quite a way away. I may add a station to do that one. That one gives us a time limit and we have to deliver 1,000 logs. Can be worth doing. Not sure if I will at the moment. But let's get this forest hooked up to the system as well. And then we can start worrying about that afterwards. Now you want to make sure there's as little slowdown as possible in your system. Now sometimes your signals will be in the way, but we can just move them along a bit and then they won't be. Perfect. Now obviously that is going to take the logs a heck of a long way to go around, because the logs are going to go around this entire system just to get to this point. So instead, I'm going to add a branch off here that then is going to lead up here and connect to there. There we go. So this just gives that train a shorter journey, basically, which is a good thing. And now I can still have it come from this station because, you know, it's on the same line. And we're going to use the nicer train because we've gotten that extra timber from finishing that other quest. So we're going to go with the Baldwin instead of a Porter. And you'll notice that this has a higher maximum weight, but it also has a much higher train weight. So although as it can go 85 mile an hour, I don't mind going over that max weight a little. So we're going to go just over that max weight with 3 of these Strudringer? Not sure. I believe that a lot of these are sort of German cars and things like that, so yeah. So we are going to add that station and that station, and we're going to set this train off on its way. We then want another Baldwin, this time with this carriage, and that one is going to go from here to here. Whenever you're adding another station, you have to click that little plus button. Forgot that bit. And we're going to set that train off. This will also help to split these trains up a bit, because they're all very close to each other at the moment, and so probably not doing as much work as they could be doing for us. Now, at the moment, this particular wood train has got a ridiculously long journey, you know, just like the log train had, just to get back from here to here. So, we are going to add in another bit like this, just to bring us back around quicker. So that's going to help this train go around this loop a lot quicker now, because it doesn't have as far to travel. It will mean that it's travelling sort of redundantly a little bit, because obviously I'm not delivering as many logs as I can deliver the planks because of the amount of distance they're going. But eventually we're going to have more forests plugged into this than, you know, so it won't cause that much of a problem. Because we've got all these forests down here, we could quite easily get a train just going from here to here and back constantly to deliver that extra wood. In fact, I am going to set up now, set up 2 stations, and they're going to come to, well, I'll have one just here, and that will actually cover both of these. Wow, brilliant. So that one will link to there. A little bit of slow down as I connect that. And then we can have this one connected to there. So that will greatly increase the amount of logs we're getting in. Obviously I'm going to have to connect it up a bit. So I'm going to put just a single signal there, and that will let me these trains shouldn't go along there because they know that they need to continue and these paths don't. If they do start interfering, then I'll obviously change it, but so we are going to need some more trains. By setting that station first, it should know that it needs to come down and through that middle track. Occasionally you do need to do a little bit of troubleshooting with the trains if they go on the wrong track, but in general it should be fine. So So we'll set those 2 trains off, and that will sort of greatly increase the number of logs we're getting per trip. Just need to make sure these trains go along the correct routes. Perfect, it did. It knew which route to go. Now these are quite a long way away, and you know, this one's producing a heck of a lot of logs. So that single train travelling that slowly isn't gonna do much, you know, but it's a start. And I can add more trains, and I can sort of add a double track with passing points and so on and so forth. So I can set it up so it'll work better. Now something else you can do is there's this thing called extensions. So for the forest, for example, I can increase the number of logs that it produces a tick. So by adding a tree nursery, we'll basically increase the number of logs it produces. And there's so on and so forth. You can add all different things. You can add a charcoal kiln, so it actually produces some charcoal at this forest as well. So there's a few different things you can do to make more logs, and that's exactly the same with over here. You have extensions. So if I'm getting a lot of wood here and it's not turning into planks quick enough, I can have a employee's quarter, and that will increase the amount of wood that's turned into planks. Some storage will do the same. Steam sawmill will do the same, and then the drying storage will do the same again. But this steam sawmill will actually require some coal as well. So if I use this one, I'll actually have to produce some coal and bring it here to get that extra timber. But that's all in the future. Don't need to do any of that at the moment. Now what I would like to do is, there's obviously extensions for these stations, just the same as any other. One of the best ones is a waiting room, because that increases the size of the station, as you can see. So I'm going to use that here, which is going to cover more of the town now. I'm also going to add in another platform. That way, thank you. Run that in from there. Now this station is getting cold because it's now within range of this. We can collect our reward for delivering logs. Thank you. And I am going to have a new train. I think we'll go with a bold one. Carrying some of these from this station to this tool station. So that's going to collect coal from here and deliver it to this tool station to give us this little coal symbol, which will give us coal to spend as a resource. That is a long way to travel, but there's no easy cut that I can do in this system to get it there quicker. So I'm just going to let it take that long journey that it's doing. Obviously, the more coal that's delivered to this station, the more trains I'll need to actually come and pick it up. Now the other good thing about adding this waiting room is it's now covering more of the city, so I'm getting more passengers at this station every tick. same can be done at all of these stations. So I can add a waiting room here, for example. It will now cover the entire city. And so there'll just be more passengers waiting and more passengers jumping on the train. Which obviously helps me tremendously when I have more passenger trains running along the system. Go. So just by adding that, it's obviously given me a lot of extra passengers now that can get on the trains. To the point that I'm actually going to add another 2 trains to the system. Go. 2 more trains running around the system. Now passengers give me just cash. So for every passenger that I get to a new station, I'll get some cash. And so, I mean, cash is the main resource that I'm going to need to actually build the tracks and the stations and so on and so forth. So I do want quite a good income of that, and so having a few of these delivering that just makes sense. Now, the other thing that we can do is we can go to the next era sooner. So early steam age. So if we actually do this, we get the optional reward here of improved foundry production, and we get 20 steel. And to move us forwards, we're going to need 100 wood and 100 coal. And I've just noticed the problem I've got here. Damn it. So, train 7, reverse you. And that's going to go there and then, oh dear. Damn it. Reverse, ignore the next signal. Reverse. Pull out that bit there for a moment. No. Oh dear. This may be a problem. Okay. I pull up that piece of track for a moment. And if I tell you to reverse, ignore the next signal, and pull up that piece of track. You ignore the next signal for a moment. There we go. Fixed it. Small problem, have fixed. Don't need to worry. What I might do is add a signal there and a signal there. this should do is allow these trains to stop at these stations if they need to, but still allow all the trains to go down their respective paths without backing up the system. I hope. And we will remove that signal there and we'll put a chain signal instead. So that will only let a train pass that signal if that signal is open and free. That works, I think. If I cause a train crash, I know what I did wrong. But that is where I am going to end this episode, guys. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I think this is a brilliant game. I think it's got a load of potential. It's still in early access. They've only got, I think, 3 eras currently. So we've got this, the Steel Age, and the Oil Age, I believe. And that's the game. You can continue after that point, but there's no extra stuff to do, if that makes sense. It's just the same gameplay after that, so it doesn't add anything new. But as I say, I think it's got a lot of potential, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So if you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you next time.